Good evening, everybody. I know it's a double header today. I'm Angela Hughes, luxury travel entrepreneur with Trips and Ships Luxury Travel today. And I am joined tonight with Lionel Garcia from Azamara Cruises. And this is a really exciting night for us. We were going to do this privately on Zoom. And then at the last minute, we were like, let's take it live to like the whole world. So we switched platforms here. So you can jump on tonight if you forgot to register, and you can be watching this in the privacy of your own home. So welcome, Lionel.
Hey, thanks for having me here, Angela. I appreciate it. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we're talking virtual cruise night. I don't know if people really know what that means. So let's break it down for a minute for people.
Yeah, normally we would be doing this in person, in a venue. We may even wrap around a destination, but typically you'll do it around a product. And in this case, my product is Azamara. But since we're virtual, because it's still difficult for us to get in front of each other, and listen, why not take advantage of the platforms that have been created and reach more people? Listen, all you people that are watching this, you might be drinking a glass of wine already, or enjoying your favorite drink, or maybe you just finished dinner or sitting down for dinner now. So you can put this on. I've heard people are putting these on their TV. And watching it, they're streaming it on Facebook Watch. So it's all fun, and really we'll cover a lot of different things. But today I'm really excited about talking about the restart of cruising for Azamara and what is Azamara, who it's for. But I don't want to steal the thunder. But that's
exactly what we're doing today. And generally we don't do like a 2 a day on these things. Usually I'm talking to business strategists, helping advisors and agencies grow their business. But tonight, this is especially for our consumers out there who are thinking about cruising. And guess what, you guys, if you're watching, you can ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat, and we're going to answer the questions like as we go. So this can be interactive and live. I can see some of you getting on now. So this can be interactive and live. And if you've got cruise questions, like I said, Lionel Garcia is our business development manager for Azamara Cruises. So he's the professional, and he's got we're doing some giveaways tonight too of cruise credit. So if you make it through our show or within the next 2 weeks, you book one of these brands or his brand that we're talking about tonight, there's going to be some giveaways with that that are going to make it exciting. So do you want to move on to the presentation then?
Yep, let's do it. Let me go in there and
let me put it up there for you.
Presentation mode.
No, I think the biggest thing, first of all, I just want to say is I feel like a lot of people are unfamiliar with Azamara, maybe in my feed or in my agency. And so that's why we're breaking it down for people tonight, so you guys can see exactly what the brand is all about. Because I think it's one of the hottest, sexiest cruise brands out there. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I really think that for the longest time, I thought we were the best kept secret in the industry.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, no, yes, I agree. It is the best kept secret.
It's been the best kept secret in the industry. But listen, I've been doing this now with Azamara for about 8 years. And more and more people are getting to know us. But this year specifically, we've made a lot of noise. In a good way, in a time where the cruise industry is reeling and pulling back and scaling back and sending ships over to scrap yards to be scrapped, Azamara has exciting news. We've been in the news since January, and that was when the announcement was made by the Royal Caribbean family to sell Azamara. And you can imagine, with all the bad things that have been happening in the industry, come January when that news came out, the news was like, oh no, what's going to happen to Azamara? But the best thing happened was 10 days later, our new owners, they're called Sycamore Partners, they announced that they were purchasing a 4th ship for Azamara. So really solidified their game plan to grow and build on the product and the success that Azamara has. So the question I always get is, who is Sycamore Partners? They are they are a private equity firm that specializes in the retail segment. They have over $15 billion in managed assets. You can see some of their managed brands below. And, some of these brands you go shop at, these brands. Right. I personally love Express. I know my wife enjoys the limited, and I do get my office supplies at Staples. So
this is the question. Now you're out shopping. You're like, you're supporting my business all around. Spending money.
Great. It's great. So, and I promise you I'll talk about Azamara as well, but I just wanted to cover a little bit of the news that we're making. In addition to some of this great news, the company's elevated into the president position another woman president into the cruise industry. Her name is Carol Cabezas. She was our COO, and now she is our president. And we've have now an advisor with Sycamore. His name's Orlando Ashford. He's been in the cruise business for a number of years. Most recently, he was running Holiday America Group, and now he is overseeing the plan with Sycamore and Azamara. Yeah. So this is really exciting. This is the fourth ship, the Azamara Onward, as she will be known. If you're a cruise sleuth, you could see that logo up there on the smokestack. That's the Princess logo, because this ship was the Pacific Princess, and she is now the Azamara Onward. Adding her is allowing us to add 33% more capacity, explore more regions in the world, and really bring what is this destination immersive cruise experience, which I can't wait to share with you what it's all about, to more people, because now we have more capacity. And the Onward will open for sale at the beginning of June, and will resume cruising in Europe next summer, 2022.
Well, so, I feel like people are going to ask, like, oh, is it the same Princess ship? No, you're doing a whole rehaul on that, so it's going to look like your brand now.
Let's put it this way: we've taken ownership of her as of March 17th. She became Azamara, and she won't have guests that are paying to cruise on her until next summer. So you can imagine the extensive renovations that will be done. She will look and feel like a brand new ship. The goal is to make her look and feel like the other three sisters. As you can tell by this image, we have a fleet of identical vessels, and this fourth ship is also an identical vessel to the other three. So we're going, if you were to plop yourself onto the ship and not travel, you could do like, I forget now the main character of Wizard of Oz, her name. But anyways, if you click your heels twice and you end up on another ship, you would know that it's the pursuit or the journey or the onward or the quest, because they're all the same.
And that's Dorothy for next.
Thank you.
You're under pressure, though. This is live.
People might think that these presentations are scripted. They're most definitely not scripted. I know what I want to say.
And people have no idea when we do these that we're just running off the cuff, and like they're sometimes working. Today my light claps, phones ringing, dogs barking, children are crying.
You might hear
this is harder than it looks, people. So
exactly.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, welcome. I am with Lionel Garcia of Azamara Cruises tonight. This is a virtual cruise night that we're having for our travel agency, Trips and Ships Luxury Travel tonight. This is a new format for us. We used to do these live in person. Now we're doing them live on Facebook, so more of you can attend. So, okay, keep going.
All right, awesome. So where are our ships today? We have three of them: the Journey, the Quest, and the Pursuit, all docked in Glasgow. Glasgow awaiting the resumption of service, which I will get to, I promise. That's what's so exciting about this presentation. And then the fourth ship, the Onward, is currently docked in Rome in Civitavecchia, awaiting her assignment into dry dock. So what do we have going? I can assure you, and you know what, I have the order of my slides a little bit backwards, but I can assure you that just because we have new ownership doesn't mean we're going to start traveling if it's not healthy or safe to do so. We've partnered with the Royal Caribbean family in Norwegian, and they've put together this healthy return to sail panel, and we have worked with them as well as governments around the world to make sure that once we do resume service, that we resume service when it is healthy and safe to do so. One of the things we implemented to help you feel confident about making that vacation purchase or that vacation investment is that we've implemented this program called Cruise with Confidence, which will guarantee you the best price or the best offer up to 48 hours prior to departure, and or allow you to cancel up to 48 hours prior to departure for any reason. It doesn't have to be COVID related, any reason, and receive 100% of what you paid in a form of a future cruise credit. So, are you ready to hear when we resume
Oh,
service?
I'm ready because this is like the big news. Everybody get ready.
I am super, super, super excited to announce that yes, we will resume service August 28th with the Azamara Quest. She will be the first ship to resume service as Azamara as an independent brand, but also the first ship to resume service within the Azamara family in this post-COVID environment. This will be round trip Athens. We will open these itineraries for sale on May 14th. That is this Friday. And this is now for certain. We've got an approval from the Greek government, and we know that we will be cruising. So one of the things to keep in mind when it comes to cruising with us is that we are requiring 100% vaccination of our guests and our crew, and of our guests 18 years and up. So keep that in mind. That's going to be one of the major protocols for resumption of service. So these are the 6 itineraries. August 28th is the first 7-night voyage, and then the last one will be October 2nd. And here are the breakdown of the itineraries. I think it'll be nice to see. You're going to visit some incredible destinations with some wonderful late nights. We have no overnights here, but imagine being able to watch the sunset in Santorini over the caldera or into the caldera from Santorini itself instead of from the ship sailing into the sunset. You could be on Santorini's caldera overlooking into the sunset. How beautiful is that?
This is such a dreamy itinerary.
Yes.
I mean, that October 2nd itinerary with Sorrento on it and Amalfi included with these. What?
Yes. So this is what it is really, really exciting. This is what Greece is requiring, as well as Azamara, but Greece is requiring a negative PCR test to be taken 72 hours prior to the arrival in Greece. Our guests that sail with us will also need a negative COVID test 72 hours prior to boarding the vessel. So if that happens at the same time, you could use
So even if they're vaccinated, they still need to do the test to board.
Even if they're vaccinated, Greece and Azamara are requiring a negative COVID test at this time to enter their country and to board our ship, our vessel. And then Greece is also requiring to have each guest visiting into Greece to fill out their passenger locator form. And that can be reached by visiting Visit Greece app or travel.gov.gr, and that will give access to this passenger locator form. Essentially, it's just a form that you fill out prior to your arrival in Greece, allowing them to know where you will be and what your plans are during your stay in Greece.
And you guys don't have to all remember that. That's why you've got us. We're going to
Yes.
have to through that.
Exactly.
You don't have to screenshot this or anything. We know all the deets on everything. So, okay.
Exactly. And then the last thing to mention is that today we did also announce all of the health and safety protocols for the resumption of service and how we see cruising resuming come August 28th. Now, keep in mind, August 28th is still about 3 months away, and a lot can change between now and then. So some of the mandates or requirements that are in place today may not be in place once the resumption of service begins in August. But this is what we have decided to do today. Things like mask wearing, the vaccinations, these are all current protocols in place to make sure that when cruising does resume on the 28th of August on the Azamara Quest from Athens, that it is healthy and safe to do so.
Perfect.
I don't know if there's any questions. I can't see what's happening on
I don't see any questions right now, but we've got people watching. And so if you've got questions, you guys put them in the comments, and Lionel's going to love to answer those for you.
Yes, I will. So now let's talk about why Azamara. So, Angela, you kind of piqued everyone's interest talking about Azamara and what it is that we are and what makes us so unique. So I really want to drive home the point of why your watchers, your followers should consider Azamara as their next vacation option. And that's because if you ask me to describe Azamara, let's say you and I met and we didn't know each other, and you asked me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "I work for Azamara." Some of your viewers today would probably say, "Well, who's Azamara? What is Azamara?" Well, my answer to that would be Azamara is a land vacation company that uses floating hotels. And I'm going to expand on that as to why I believe that this little cruise line is a land vacation company that uses floating hotels.
Yeah.
So our purpose is to connect people with cultures, and people with themselves. And we really get to do this by delivering more time in port. Now, more time in port means that on a given 10-night voyage, 8 nights of those 10 nights are dedicated to the destination. That means you can have dinner in the destination and then come back to the ship and go to sleep. That means you could have dinner on the ship and get off the ship and have a nightcap. That means you can go watch a show in the destination. That means you could spend the night in a hotel in the destination. That means you could do anything you want to do because the ship acts as your hotel, and you get to really experience that destination the way you want to experience it. So you really could connect with the people, with the culture, with the food, with the entertainment of that destination, because Azamara gives you that much more time in the destinations that you're looking to visit.
You know, that's what is so attractive for me for this brand, and we've talked about this before, is I really don't like cruising because I feel so stressed out. Like, oh, you have to be back, you know, you're in Santorini and then you have to be back at 2:30, hoping to get on the gondola to get down to the ship so you don't miss a ship at 4. I feel like it's a very stressful experience. And so when I first started looking to Azamara as a brand, that was the first thing that jumped out at me, was like these long stays and these overnight stays. I mean, I'd probably just come back to the ship. I probably wouldn't do a hotel, but that idea that you don't need to be so stressed out the entire day changes your whole experience in cruising for me.
You're all right. I mean, I'm a young family. My wife and I have 2 kids, a 5 and a 7-year-old. And if you were to ask who's the perfect Azamara customer, it's not a family of 4 with a 5 and a 7-year-old. But the way that my wife and I like to vacation, we like to spend more time. We like to experience. We really want to be in that place. And so there's nothing to say that a kid can't enjoy that, because we like to have them around and we want to show and share with them the different destinations in the world and what makes them unique. And we feel that we can do that on Azamara. And so that's why we like to vacation with Azamara. Plus, it doesn't hurt that I work there, but it's really what we enjoy. So if I didn't work there, we would probably be doing a land vacation. So that's why I say that we are that land vacation company that uses floating hotels.
Well, I love that destination immersion.
Yeah.
I just love that like theme. So run with that, people, and look at the destinations. I kind of almost get weepy watching this. I'm like, oh.
One of the coolest things that we've done is we've implemented a type of vacation experience called the Country Intensive Itinerary. So these are itineraries that we were able to curate to dedicate themselves to just one country. So when you want to visit France or Italy or Spain, you typically may not look at a cruise, because you're not going to just see France, Italy, or Spain. You're going to see a little bit of everything. But with Azamara and our Country Intensive Itineraries, you can now dedicate an entire voyage just to one country. So things like Japan, for example, we have a 15-night round trip that circumnavigates the island of Japan. Or we have a 12-night round trip Cape Town to do a South Africa intensive. Or, you know, these Greek ones that I just mentioned, round trip Athens, these are our Greek intensives. So I know Israel is in the news today, not for the best of things, but this is one of the itineraries that we have. I'm just going to cover it as an example. I don't think people are going to be going to Israel this year. But next year and the years to come, this could be something to consider. We have 5 nights dedicated to the country of Israel on a 10-night program.
Hey, and I just want to add to that, because I've been to Israel multiple times.
Yeah.
CNN is not always what's really happening there. So I've come into this like Israeli conflict a million times of like, do you travel or not? But CNN generally makes it look 20,000 times worse than it really is over there. And I can say that honestly. Okay. I would say don't like write Israel off if you're looking at that, people. I'm actually looking at that for this year.
Yeah, this is still on our agenda. We haven't canceled it. It's still taking place. So unless we feel it's unsafe to go, we will keep it on the itinerary. So this is something to consider for sure. Then we have an Iceland Intensive. And again, these are just examples, just really to pique your interest. Look at this itinerary. It's 9 nights with 7 days in port, 2 late nights, 2 overnights, only 2 days at sea on this incredibly beautiful 9-night itinerary. So I really think that this is a great way to see Iceland. If you're looking to see Iceland, why not try it with Azamara?
Yeah.
And then we have an Italy Intensive. This is an 11-night program, 9 port days, 5 late nights, 2 overnights. And you can argue that you're seeing 50% of Italy on this trip. And the best part about this is you get to pack and unpack one time.
Yeah, I love that itinerary right there. It's gorgeous.
So now let's talk about these beautiful boutique hotels. These are our 4 beautiful identical ships, the Quest, the Journey, the Pursuit, and the Onward. And they're managed by this fantastic group of individuals. These individuals here you see are officers. Many of them have been with us since we started about 13 years ago. And they're the reason why today we have about 67% of our guests repeating to travel with us again and again. And it's thanks to these men and women who make our guests feel like they belong. Like their Azamara vacation or their Azamara ship that they're on is their home away from home, their extended home, except their backyard gets to be one of the beautiful destinations around the world.
Right.
So on board, we serve 702 guests and 408 crew members serve their needs while on board. We also include so much already in our pricing, so much that I have 2 slides to show all of the inclusion. But things like your drinks, your tips, a nighttime excursion in the destination called the Amazing Evening, your bottled water, soft drinks, specialty coffees, juices, teas. This is all built into the price. No need to take your room key out for this or room key out for that. It's all been thought of and included in your fare so that you get to pay the price that you paid for your vacation and enjoy your vacation.
So really a great selling point to our consumers out there is that you may see a cruise for cheaper, but it's so tricky because by the time you add in the gratuities and all of these different things that are kind of a la carte, this is really looking like a value for people, I think.
Right. So one of the other big things that we've made, we did a change into our fleet is that we removed the casino. So now if you're a cruiser, and I'm doing air quotes, I don't know if you could see me, a cruiser, there's nothing wrong with a cruiser. My mom is a cruiser. My mom is such a cruiser that she wouldn't like Azamara because she likes to have all these great things to do on the ship, when everything about Azamara is, yes, to provide this beautiful vessel and hotel at sea, but everything is to be done off the ship in the destination. So much so that we removed the casino because 80% of the time spent on the ship on the cruise is spent in port. So as a cruiser, you will know that when you're in port, the casino is closed. So we transformed the casino into this beautiful venue called the Den. This is on deck 5, midship, windows on both sides. It really has become the hub on board the vessel where all of our guests could come and meet with one another, connect, socialize, sing along with the piano player, have their favorite drink, do trivia night here, trivia afternoon. It's really just a fun time. So this is really the soul, the heartbeat of each of our vessels. So let's look at some of our accommodations. This is my favorite room. It's called the Club Spa Suite. We offer 2 of these. They're on deck number 9. And my favorite feature is this glass enclosed hot tub that sits out on the veranda. We also have our entry-level suite is our Continent Suite. This is very well appointed with 265 square feet inside and an additional 60 square feet outside. And then we have our club veranda stateroom. This is our standard accommodation. We do have insides and we do have ocean views, but if you do choose to travel with Azamara, my suggestion is to travel in one of our beautifully appointed veranda staterooms or better. Now, I know I should have covered this earlier, but I didn't want to forget to mention that we do have 3 Caribbean itineraries. One of them is November 26th. It's still scheduled to take place, round trip Miami. Then we have December 10th, also round trip Miami. And then lastly, Christmas and New Year's, December 23rd is a 15-night itinerary. And these itineraries, as you can see, are visiting some of the places that maybe you haven't had a chance to see. And if you've been, I guarantee you want to go back again. So I will close with our current promotion. We have a collection of a few offers. We have buy one, get the second guest 60% off. I'll do the math for you. That's 30% off guest one and 30% off guest two. This promotion is going to run till the end of June. So there's really no true urgency. You still have another month to go. But this is going to extend the 30% off for guest one and two. And this is going to cover most departures through the end of November next year. We also are extending reduced single supplements, where we're only charging 25% more on a collection of voyages departing through March of 2022.
Well, this whole single supplement thing, I've seen this the last couple of weeks come out. This is really a bargain, because usually if you're cruising, you're always at 200%.
Yes.
So if you're going to travel alone, if you're solo, female, whatever, this is a bonus right here. So to go with this line right now. So
yeah, and then Angela, you mentioned the special offer. So, for those who stayed through, I've created a special incentive for Angela and her agents and her team, her advisors. So any of the customers that do call and reserve a vacation with Azamara, with Angela and her team at Trips and Ships, they will receive a $300 to $500 onboard credit to be used on that future cruise. And it would be combinable with the BOGO 60 and any other promotion that's going on. So with that, I would say thank you. I'll stop sharing my slide, and then you and I can.
We've got to chit chat some more. So
yeah.
Okay, so let's get you back up here. Okay, super exciting, all the things that we've been talking about. I know the first question that we're going to have is the shore excursions. Are people going to be taking them with the ship, or can they get off and do their own thing, or is it too early to tell right now?
So the answer, we have an answer, but I think it's both. The answer I'm going to give you and the fact that it's too early to tell. So the answer is yes, we're still requiring all guests to use a ship sponsor, a cruise line sponsored shore excursion. This is because this is the guidance from the CDC and from CLIA, which is the governing body of all cruise lines, that is probably going to be the healthiest and safest way to resume service. However, if cruising will resume if we resume service as expected, which with 100% vaccination, there shouldn't be a need to be on ship sponsored or cruise line sponsored shore excursions. But today that's the case. So if you have, if anyone watching at home or wherever you're watching, you want to book a private shore excursion, Azamara does offer private shore excursions, and you could book a private shore excursion with us or with your team, Angela. You could book it for them through Azamara. But the other thing to keep in mind is that you can book a shore excursion, and you can cancel those shore excursions up to 48 hours prior to the day of the shore excursion. So I think what the good news with that is that if the rules change, which they can, then your clients can still cancel the shore excursions and book their private tour or book their third-party tour when they're ready to do so.
So, and let's not stress out about this, you guys, because the thing is, it is still too early to tell. I mean, things improve. Probably this is going to improve as well. And so don't think we're going to be doing, ship-only tours up until 2029. This is an ongoing situation. So happy about that. Okay. I know the next question is the demographic, because you talked a little bit about not having children on the ship, which is a bonus for a lot of people. But at what age can teenagers sell, or what age is appropriate? Because I know there's not kids clubs and everything on here. And so where do you feel like the family break off is? Because we do have like older families that teenagers and, that would really love this. So talk about that.
I'll be the demo of the audience that travels with us today is 55 to 65 as far as their age range where they fall in, and they're not necessarily well cruised as well as they are well traveled customers. Shouldn't discount the families that want to travel. The only thing to keep in mind if you are a family looking to travel with Azamara is that we don't have a kids program, we don't have a babysitting service, and that should be okay, because if you're a family and you're accustomed to traveling on land with your family, there isn't a babysitting service at those hotels, and there aren't any child dedicated programs at those hotels or properties or countries. So it shouldn't be an issue or any different traveling with Azamara, other than you're now on a ship. So I don't know. I've been on board and seen family reunions and the different families. So seeing grandma, great grandma, seeing daughter, son, and then grandkids on the ship, and they're all wearing their shirts and everyone's going. So it's not the large part. It isn't the largest makeup of the vessel like it might be with the mass market brands, but it's possible.
But I like what you said. I've taken my kids to Europe multiple times, even from when they were young, because of our schooling situation. And what I like about this is food was always an issue on land to get everybody kind of fed. And so if you're taking younger people, or if you're taking teenagers, that's the beauty about coming back to the ship. Another selling point for me is everybody's eating really well and not complaining. That seems to be the problem traveling with any young people to Europe is the food piece. But yet you still have plenty of time on land to experience food on land as well, which is always something that you're going to do in Italy and different places. And so I like how you phrase that, how treating it like a land vacation and you're using it as that boutique hotel again. And okay, so are there any quad cabins or no?
So depending on the age, because the rooms are really set up for no more than 3. Mm-hmm. But I have traveled with 4, but that was when my son was under the age of 2.
So it's really like, once it's a baby, it's going to be 3 to a room only. So you can't do 4. Okay. Right. So.
Or you can, I've seen it happen, if you do book one of our bigger suites, I have seen us being able to approve to add a rollaway because there was enough space. But it requires a little bit of jumping through hoops, but it's possible.
Okay. Here's the hot seat question for you as the executive. How fast are these going to fly off the shelf this week? Because we're seeing other cruise lines put out their inventory, and within 24, 48 hours. We're having a huge supply and demand issue right now. It's going fast.
So
I think that's also sketchy, people. This is like honest to God truth. Like, we put out a cruise, it launches, and it's gone like the next day. So we're just getting down and dirty and gritty here.
I'm incredibly optimistic. We've been talking about the new itineraries for the Quest for about the last week and a half. It will launch on Friday. It was supposed to launch today. We had a few things we needed to iron out with Greece to make sure that because Greece noticed that everyone else is going to Greece, and there was going to be maybe some overlapping in ports that wasn't going to be friendly for physical distancing, right? So we've been able to hash that out. It's done. We have new itineraries like the ones I shared with you already, and we'll launch May 14th. They will go live, and so we're very optimistic. But as you mentioned, there are a lot of brands also going live this week, and they went live last week or going live next week with new itineraries, even new ships and different things. So I'm optimistic though, because there's a lot of people at home that are now vaccinated that feel that they can go anywhere and everywhere, and they want to go now. And so they feel like they were robbed of their time and their freedom last year and this year, and they want to get away. So I do think this is going to play very well. And I do know that the pricing is going to be quite aggressive. And when I say that, I mean it's going to be very well priced, because we realize that we need to put people on a ship in 3 months.
Right.
And so because of that, we can't be picky and charge a lot of money. We're going to have to charge what's right to get people on the ship in 3 months.
So I feel like this is like Christmas morning, because I feel like prices are only going to rise in travel over the next couple of years to make up for the losses that we've had. And, all of the professionals are saying that too, and the experts. And so I feel like coming right out of the chute here and booking something and taking a risk. I'm going to be in Greece for 20 days. I'm in Africa next week. You guys, book something, travel, take a risk, take a chance, get wild and crazy here. Booking a cruise is not that wild and crazy. So it's not that hard to just get moving again and get loving this so much. So
yeah, and I would second what you said, Angela, and just lay on top that layer of confidence that we have with our Cruise with Confidence program. If you go out and you take that risk, like that chance, like you just said, and book that next trip with Azamara, you have Cruise with Confidence to fall back to. So in case things don't look like what you thought they were going to look like come August, and you just feel like you don't want to go anymore for XYZ reason, you can cancel, get 100% of what you paid back in the form of a future cruise voucher. Or maybe you're one of those people that kind of maybe see the glass half empty instead of the glass half full. And you might think, well, you know what? They're going to lower their prices before they go. I know they are. Well, guess what? We'll honor the lowest rate up to 48 hours prior to departure. So there's no risk in your investment whatsoever. It's just going out and doing it. And listen, you deserve it. You've had yourself trapped for the last year. Now it's your time to go out and see the world, because you can.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you're doing that 48 hours prior. I mean, and that's what's so great about our advisors here at our agency is they're watching those prices for you, and they'll help you make that price adjustment. And you don't need to feel like you're glued to your system going to miss a price. And second of all, I always feel like when you book a vacation, stop looking at the prices, just enjoy what you booked, and get excited. Part of like booking is part of the fun of traveling, and if you're always worried that, you missed the $5 discount, then your experience becomes very difficult. So, okay, what can they use the onboard credit for? Because now they're saying, well, you don't have gambling. And now, did you say drinks are included or no? The
drinks are included.
Now you don't have drink packages. So what are they spending their onboard credit on? Is that on shore excursions?
So my suggestion would be shore excursion. I interrupted you, Angela. I'm sorry. You said shore excursions.
Well, are shore excursions going to be priced crazy because now there's not a competition on land to compete with you, or are they still going to be reasonably priced?
I'm going to be as honest as I can, because that's the only way I know how to be. I haven't seen the rates. I don't believe that we're going to be jacking up rates just because we have a stronghold on the market, because we understand that that's the only way today that our guest is going to be able to disembark the vessel, right? So there is some understanding and leniency with that. We don't want to hold our guests hostage on board. That's not a vacation.
Right.
So, the way I would recommend using the onboard credit will be most definitely recommend using the onboard credit for shore excursions, considering the fact that you have to book one in every port. And so that would be my suggestion. But they could use it in the spa. They could use it. We do have two specialty restaurant experiences and one chef's table experience that will be additional. So you can use it for one of those experiences. And then we do have a nice gift shop with fantastic duty-free items that you can use the onboard credit for as well. But I think the biggest bang for your buck will be for your shore excursions, because you're going to need one anyway. And the best part, I don't know if they know this, that people watching at home, is that they can actually use their onboard credit pre-cruise for their shore excursions, so they don't have to wait till they get on board. And the chance that that shore excursion may be sold out, they can actually purchase their shore excursions with their onboard credit pre-cruise.
Okay, now I have what's called the Lux Portfolio List, which is like my list of love. This is on my list. How now, you've been with Royal Caribbean and some of these mass markets before. Like, how is that experience just going to be a little bit different for people? Because the ship is not exactly like 150 people, but it's not a 5,000 ship experience. In your own personal experience, being kind of that mid-size, small boutique hotel, how did that change for you? Because I mean, you sold Royal Caribbean for a long time, and so 5 years ago we could have been having that conversation together. So how do you like combat people? Because we want to pick up some of these Royal Caribbean cruisers. We've got a lot of Royal Caribbean cruisers. What's the best way to convert somebody who's like, nope, Royal Caribbean's my line,
So I hate to do this because I've already kind of mentioned it before, but the main question to ask as the consumer, the future customer of Azamara is, do you want to spend more time in port on your next cruise vacation? If the answer to that is yes, then I think a vacation with Azamara should be considered, because we visit those smaller ports that are harder to reach, that the larger guys can't. So when we were part of the family, we would say that, and it's true, 60% of the ports we called on, the docks we visited, our sister brands couldn't visit. because their ships are too large. And then we have more time in port with 80% of the time spent on an Azamara voyage. Our guests are in the destination. So one of the things I love though about the ship experience is whenever I come on the ship, regardless if I'm coming or going, there's a ship officer in the gangway wishing me a welcome home or a enjoy your day in port. And everything we do with Azamara, even before COVID, was the Azamara fist bump. This is the way we would say hi to our guests and say goodbye to our guests. And this was our way to prevent the spread of other viruses that sadly find their way on many types of hotel experiences. So this is our way to protect ourselves and protect our guests, but it's also our like love for them. It's our Azamara fist bump. So it's always a welcome home or enjoy your day ashore. And it's really just fascinating what happens because guess what? They know your name. I had a really unique experience once, and I know I'm getting long-winded. I'm sorry, so you've got to reel me in, let me know, Angela. But one night, this was the night I had my daughter with me on the cruise. She was a year old, and they were serving the ribeye in the main dining room, and shrimp cocktail and escargot, and those are my favorite cruise food. That is like my go-to.
Yep.
But you can't take a 1-year-old to the dining room and have them sit through a 2.5-hour dinner. That's just asking for a meltdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the restaurant, the main dining room, and I said, hey, I would like to order my food to go. Could you help me? And the lady at the front, as nice as she could be, said, look, we're really sorry. We just don't want you carrying your food around the ship. And I said, okay, I understand. Well, thank you. I'll go eat at the buffet. As I turn around and walk away, the gentleman in a suit says to me, Mr. Garcia, I swear, I've never met that guy. He's never met me. He doesn't know my name. I didn't know his, but he somehow knew my name at that moment, said, Mr. Garcia. And I said, yeah? And he takes out his notepad. He goes, what would you like for dinner? And next thing you know, he sets up my dinner at the buffet area outside. We have a little sitting area. It's called the patio. And he set up my table there. I was the only one at the patio eating main dining room food. But I was able to have my dinner that I wanted. And those are the little things that sadly you can't do on a vessel with 6,000 passengers, but you could do on a vessel with just 700. So I hope that gives you that taste. But really, I think what separates us is the time in port. That's really I think the it factor.
Yeah, so focus on that, you guys. Time in port, so much time in port. That is about the only thing that could pull me to cruising. Because like I said, I'm a land girl, and I told you that from the beginning. I love the land. I love my maximum time there. This is why I'm so in love with this. And this is why this line fits so many of you guys that follow us at our agency, and it could be a perfect for you and you don't even know it. Because again, maybe not a brand name that you think of all the time in cruising, because they don't have all of the advertising and the promos and everything that you're seeing all the time from the big ships. But guess what? This is so select, and that's, if you're looking for that kind of toned down experience with, like he's saying, like maximum time, boutique opportunity for hotel, then this is a perfect fit for you guys. And look at the itineraries. That is what was really key for me. Like he said, you can pull into Sorrento where the bigger ships can't do that. You're pulling into ports and you're getting experiences that people are paying $300 when they pull into Naples to do. They have to drive over with 52 of their closest friends to see that. Where they're just pulling right there, and then they're spending, maybe overnight there. And so that was the biggest thing that attracted me. Right when I saw that you were a Sorrento port, I thought, whoa, that just saves like so much time. So while you're looking at prices that might look cheaper on some of the big mass lines, think of all the things that we're adding in here: drinks, gratuities, this extended time on land, and it just makes it so it's just value driven in my book. Okay. Do we have any questions out there? I don't see any questions in the chat, but I'll wait just a minute while people are like filling that out. If you've got something, let me know. Tag a friend. Lionel, how can we wrap this up tonight?
Well, listen. I love the fact that you invited me to be a part of this live and this opportunity to reach those people that do follow your site and follow your social media channels. Really, Azamara is an exciting brand, and yes, today we may not be doing a lot of advertising and a lot of marketing, but that's because we haven't needed to. We've only had 3 ships. Now we're going to be 4. But we're not done. Part of this investment that Sycamore made with us is to grow Azamara. So you will be seeing and hearing a lot about us. And so just kind of like how this is how my CEO presented Azamara to me when I left Royal Caribbean and come to Azamara. And I'm not going to say that we're just like Apple, but just think about when Apple first started and you heard about the iPod and you heard about the iPhone, you needed it. And then once you had it, you're like, oh, look, I have the new shiny toy. We will be the new shiny toy in the cruise business, even though we've been doing business for 13 years, because people want and will be hearing about us and know more about us. And we have an incredibly appealing message. And that is a message that people need today more than ever. And that's to connect people with cultures, and people with themselves. Sadly, our whole world, our country is incredibly divided. And travel is the one thing that I truly believe brings people together. So this is something that will be resuming finally. And with Azamara, that's going to be August 28th on the Quest, on these beautiful 6 itineraries that are round trip Athens. So thank you really for the time, Angela, and thank you for all of you watching. And I look forward to welcoming you all on board on a future voyage with Azamara.
Okay, we do have one question before you disconnect from us. Just to confirm, a vaccine is required, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, indeed, a vaccine is required. Debbie, for asking that. Thank you. Okay, so tune in, you guys. We are going to continue to talk about Azamara. This is not a one and done for us, because this is one of our, like I said, it's one of our Lux portfolio lines that we love. So this is not a one and done, and then we're going to shuffle in the next cruise line. We're not those types. We stick with a couple and we love them. And so we're going to have this out here. What we want you to do is go ahead and tag your friends, share this video. I'm actually so glad we switched to live, because we were doing it on Zoom, but I love this concept of doing it live, because now I already see Lois tagging friends. Sarah, you'll love this cruise experience. Jillian, check out this option. And so now we always say the power is in the replay. So if your husband's been saying, hey, we're going to go to Europe as soon as COVID ends, this is a perfect thing to just like tag him in and just let him know, hey, things are open and they are booking, and we can go clear up until 48 hours before and feel confident about sailing. So thanks for joining us tonight here at Trips and Ships Luxury Travel with Lionel Garcia, our business development manager from Azamara. I'm Angela Hughes, and have a good night. See you later.